Welcome to On the Rise. I talk about personal development, small business, and I interview entrepreneurs on the rise. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Level Up Nelson so you don't miss any level ups from the show. This podcast is brought to you by DatChat, the future of email and messaging. DatChat puts you in control of your text messages and allows you to pull back any message you've sent using secure blockchain technology. DatChat IPOs in early 2020 to the NASDAQ. Visit datchat.com/levelups and get a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive pass to purchase shares now. Again, that's datchat.com/levelups. And to my Level Up family, welcome back to the show. My guest tonight is an entrepreneur. She's the owner at Design Matters, creative strategy and visual design guru. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Sabrina Matera to the show tonight. Sabrina, what's up?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. It's been a while.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes, definitely wanted to bring you on. And before we even jump into everything, because this is going to be a fun show, the creativity that's going to be flowing through these airwaves is going to be pretty interesting tonight. So, as always, I like to start the show with a quote of the day. So let's jump right into that. So,
Love it.
This quote is from Joel Osteen, and he says, "You're going to go through tough times. That's life. But I say nothing happens to you. It happens for you. See the positive in negative events." And again, that's from Joel Osteen. What do you think?
It's so fitting. It's so fitting
Right?
For being an entrepreneur, being a female.
Oh, yeah.
Living that life on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about this just the other day because I did an article with Medium.
Okay.
And it was the same exact question they asked me.
Wow.
So it's like everything's lined up.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I feel like if you don't learn from the disappointments
Mm-hmm.
and learn to be humble and take something away from it, then
Right.
you're not focusing on anything. You're not focused
Right.
on the long-term goal. You can't really let that cloud your judgment.
Right.
For me, I had to go through a lot of hardship, and I still do. I still do. But
course.
you can't really let that hold you back from, pushing through and reaching for the stars and
Growing.
exactly. So I would say it definitely hits home.
Yeah. Because
And,
it also helps you too because
it builds tough skin. It builds character.
oh yeah.
You kind of, I feel like in the beginning, a lot of people, for me, I started my business 5 years ago. And,
That's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. It's still fresh. It's still growing. But I started with an idea, and I thought it would be easy. And, I just kept going through a lot of hardships. And,
Right.
The business that I'm in, there's a lot of politics, and
Right.
there's a lot being a female in the business world, which makes it even more harder. So, you just kind of learn to build that tough skin, and you pick yourself up, you get through it, and, you confide in people. You find mentors, business coaches, your parents, your friends.
Right.
You kind of find your way through all of that,
And that can get tricky too sometimes.
It gets tricky, yeah, because people will derail you.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
There'll be haters in the office.
Oh yeah, I've gone through that. I've gone through
hating because you look better than them. Hating for any little reason.
Oh yeah, it's male, it's female. You always have to have your guard up in business and focus on your end game and pick yourself up. Nobody will do it except for you.
Right.
So you can't depend on others for that. I do go to some people for advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a really small circle.
Yeah, you gotta
Very
have that.
small.
Yeah, can't be too big.
Not too big. people think I have a huge network. And it really isn't.
Yeah. But it might look like it.
Might look like it.
But it's only a small circle, which is how you're supposed to do it.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, though, if you don't see the positive in those negative events, as Joel says, you can easily repeat them. Right.
And fall into a bad pattern.
Yeah.
And, something that you just drown in and you can't find your way out. So,
right.
You know, I made a lot of changes in my life through those mistakes. I went through, I changed myself physically as well. I saw a nutritionist.
Wow.
I changed the way my whole family eats. So I changed the way I was cooking. I started working out, and it was like a mental and physical
That's like a whole lifestyle.
Like a whole lifestyle change, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like you feel fit physically, but mentally at the same time.
Yeah.
So I started doing a lot of learning sprints, and that's how I felt like I was.
Learning sprints.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I never heard that.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
I ran track in college and high school, right?
Okay.
So learning sprints, I'm like, wait a minute. Yo, that sounds amazing.
It's, you know what? It started happening recently.
I didn't Did somebody come up with that? Is that like...
I don't even know. Maybe
where did you get that from?
I have no idea. I think I just made it up.
Learning sprints.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's really how I differentiated myself in the industry, because I started as a graphic designer, but I am also a multidisciplinary designer. So I'm an animator. I also creative direct. I'm a producer. I'm an artist. I'm a painter.
You do animation too?
Animation, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot. And but the way I learned was through those learning sprints.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to really talk about that. On the Rise, Nelson Strike. I'm with Sabrina Matera. We're going in tonight. We just got through the quote of the day, and for those of you tuning in right now, I wish I could see you, but I can't. But shout out to everybody. That's the live right there. That's the live Facebook feed. So again, we just went through the quote. For those of you tuning in right now, I'll read it really quickly. You're going to go through some tough times. That's life. But I say nothing happens to you. It happens for you. See the positive and negative events. And that's from Joel Osteen. So Sabrina, let's dive in. Let's get into these questions.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously, even with the intro, we kind of already got into your background.
Yes.
Right. And so we know that the background is strong with design, but how did you get there? Like, what came before being the graphic designer?
You mean like how did I get there? How did I start my business?
Yeah, what compelled you to want to be a graphic designer and then start your own business?
It happened by mistake.
Okay.
I didn't fall into it.
Okay.
Even though both of my parents are entrepreneurs and my family, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, I wanted to actually be a female builder.
Oh.
And join my father, who's in construction.
Construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took architecture in the city. I went to NYIT.
Okay.
And then by accident, I made it in the top 10. Like, I was full force going into this.
Wow.
And then one of the professors said, "You're actually like really good.
Pretty
You
good.
might be better for communication arts." And I was like, what the hell is that?
Right.
So then I looked into it, and then I realized, oh my God, that's my calling. That's for me. And then I ended up going to Rutgers in Newark, and I stayed there. I did my communication. I did my bachelor's, and then I went right into working. I was working all types of gigs, internships, you name it.
Wow. He was getting busy.
Yeah. And, I always knew that in order for me to, like, make it in the industry, I had to pay my dues. So I was, like, hungry. I was, like, in engineering. I was in MTV. I was in all sorts of different avenues, working all sorts of jobs, working for advertising agencies. But to start my business, it was fueled by, politics. I had some bad business that happened. Mm-hmm. And that sparked the fire, basically. It lit the fire for me, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I
could do this.
I could totally do this.
Right.
This person can excel, and I just help them build their business. Oh my gosh, I could totally do this."
Right. Yeah.
And then, it just kind of started from there.
Mm-hmm.
I like formed my business literally overnight.
Wow.
I took my first client. They said they had a retainer. They want to work with me. And I had
the first client?
The first client.
Wow.
And I had to form an LLC, build a website, capabilities, presentation, and pitch to them, put together a proposal, and pitch to them a creative, like, theme for the program that I was trying to get the work for.
Right.
So it was basically like taking on 5 jobs.
Yeah.
And like condensing it into a week.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And then, like working with a procurement department in a pharmaceutical company, just making sure like everything is in a straight line for them at the same time.
Everything's looking right.
But yeah, it kind of all started super fast, and I just didn't look back. I said, okay, this is maybe this is for me. I'm a business designer, and this is my thing.
Right.
And then one thing led to another. I started getting referrals, and I never really marketed, which I'm grateful for.
Oh yeah, that's big.
So I think for me it was like more building a good reputation along with good work.
Yeah.
And that's how I slowly started to, move up within the industry and move within other industries besides pharmaceutical. So it took a while. I think it's, it's good for being in business for 5 years.
Oh yeah. Just off referrals, not even no advertising. What?
This past year is the first time where I actually started advertising, believe it or not.
Wow.
So I consider it a blessing.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I wanna get into other industries. There's so many different spaces that are fascinating to me.
Oh yeah.
The beauty industry, I've always been fascinated with that and the changes happening there.
Right.
The cannabis industry.
Oh yeah.
I've always been, it's
getting wild.
Yeah, it's really crazy, and there's a lot of fun things happening there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could really dive into any industry and
so like is branding, can you throw branding in there too?
Absolutely. It's the root. Right? It's the root of everything.
Yeah.
So building a business, you can't really start anywhere without a brand.
Right.
And I've worked with startups besides corporations, so I would have to basically be prescriptive with what I would help them build, and that would be a brand architecture plan.
Yeah.
So it's everything from the brand voice to the personality, what their company manifesto is, what do they believe in, where do they see themselves in 5 years. Like I have to basically be an investigator.
Jeez.
And build it for them and design it and implement it.
That's incredible. That's really incredible because when I look at design, I'm not really piecing it together with full branding capability. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a lot more to the eye. Yeah.
And there's a lot more behind just what you see visually that goes into building that brand. There's a lot more thought and
right.
I think that's the part where people don't really see.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in. So.
But it's almost like you're jumping into their idea and saying, this is the best advice I can give you on where you can go with it. So essentially, you can be creating a business for somebody who might not even be anywhere near.
Yes. So somebody could say to me, hey, I'm starting a consulting company.
Right.
But I want the American Express black look. This is an exclusive business, and these are the type of clients I want.
Premium, yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I can help you get to that level.
Right.
But they have to verbalize it in a way so I can understand what is the vision, who are their target clients,
right?
Who are their customers. So this way I can just make it a little bit more realistic for them. But there's plenty of businesses that I've helped to brand where people think they're a franchise and they're
not
a
even
small
close.
mom and pop shop, but they want that. They want that bigger illusion so that they can, have that presence and have that brand instantiated in the industry and look like
they're doing more business.
They're a leader, in the space. So, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right.
So, get the sales, help them, grow their business, and that's what it's all about.
Wow, that's incredible. That's like some super hustler mentality. Like, look, I think of like an octopus, like with all these like arms just going into all these different things. All right, folks, on the rise, Nelson Stryker. I'm here with Sabrina Matera. We're talking about some crazy experience in design. So for those of you out there looking to start a business and you've been stuck for a while, this is the type of person you want to hear from and see her work. Obviously, towards the end of the show, we'll give out her Instagram and social media, so we'll get there. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back, folks. All right, folks, on the rise, Nelson Stryker. We are back. I'm here with Sabrina Matera, owner at Design Matters. And Sabrina, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. So listen, I got a couple more questions. So I guess when it comes to design, is there a way you can identify a more masculine design versus a more feminine design, or is it kind of like based on just, I guess, the viewer?
Yeah.
Like, and they can see it in either way.
I guess it depends on who the client is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm mostly inside a corporation,
Mm-hmm.
so it has to work for both.
Right.
It has to be almost like
has to appeal to both of them. Yeah.
Ambiguous, like abstract in a way
Mm-hmm.
where it works for everyone. So a lot of times, maybe I need to backtrack. A lot of times I'm working off of an existing brand.
Got it. Okay. So they already have something to work off of.
They already have something instantiated.
Right.
So the first thing I ask them is, hey, I need your brand guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually like a 50-page, 100-page manual that I have to
my gosh,
basically sift through, make sure I understand.
Yeah.
That's the brand architecture, basically.
To like stay consistent.
Like a blueprint.
Yeah.
Like that.
But do you want to stay consistent?
I do. So I try to digest that so that I can play by the rules.
Yeah.
But then I try to deviate a little bit and push the bar.
Yeah.
Because that's really the reason why they hired me.
That flavor, add some flavor on it. Yeah.
They want to, play by the rules, but they also want to elevate their brand at the same time.
Got it, yeah.
I come in and I try to marry my design sensibilities, but also technology at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to innovate. So it's like a trifecta.
Right.
I don't just come in as a designer. I'm coming in with like a multitude of ideas.
Yeah, you come in with the big guns.
Like push the bar as far as I can.
Right.
And I get a little pushback because I am working in more of a corporate setting.
Yeah.
And I do have to sometimes work with like a legal and regulatory board.
So you got the approval process.
And there's like a lot of rounds and revisions. But there's usually not a lot of pushback, and I think that's what makes it rewarding.
Right.
Knowing that I'm able to help the client out, they look great.
Yeah.
They feel like they're gaining success with whatever programs they're building internally.
Right.
And I can help brand it for them and give it a face.
Right.
And,
well, I mean, what about with colors too, though? I mean, you could probably easily differentiate.
Oh, yeah.
Certain.
Totally. I mean, a lot of things, I think working inside the organization is almost easier as opposed to working outside because I'm not working on consumer facing material.
Right.
So it's a lot more strict on that side. Because it's, it could be packaging, it's marketing, but it all has to adhere to a tighter guideline.
Right.
Inside the organization, it's a lot easier for me because I can still, use that as a foundation, but I can make it more of an additive idea.
Right.
So I can layer on, certain ideas and then add almost like a creative campaign.
Okay.
And help them with launching programs inside of the organization.
Right.
So it almost gives me more flexibility in a way, and it gives me more room to be creative at the same time.
Okay. So look, so you kind of brought that up. So being inside the organization, right?
Yes.
So for those of you out there tuning in right now, so pay very close attention to this part, right? Because I even still need to try and understand this, right? So what would be the difference between an ad agency, right, and what it is that you do?
I am basically working alongside executives. So I'm not really doing external design communication. I'm basically the person that's working alongside an executive team.
Right.
And they may have initiatives that they need to push forward inside the organization.
Okay.
Through different departments.
Okay. So would it be like the marketing team?
It could be marketing. It could be
the advertising team.
It could be human resources.
HR. Okay.
It could be employees.
Okay.
So what I'm basically tasked to do is come in, understand the business objective that they're trying to achieve,
right,
and translate those business goals to something that's digestible for employees or for a field sales training department.
Okay.
A lot of times, like, I'm like the middle person, the liaison between like an executive team and employees.
Got it.
The projects that I work on vary. So I've worked on engagements that are strictly motivational employee campaigns, where you come up with a tagline.
Like a training, or like it would be for a training?
It could be
like
for a training development program.
Got it, okay.
So it could be sales reps that are going out in the field.
Got it.
And I would work on a campaign in terms of like developing marketing material for them to go out in the field and use that with the doctors. That could be one type of communication project. Yeah.
But you wouldn't do the whole thing. You would get the design together, and it would be their responsibility to get it out there and get it printed. Or do you already have that system in place where you have someone on speed dial, a company on speed dial you only do business with?
It's a little bit of both. So it's like I orchestrate it, but then I have to implement it. So I'm also held accountable to make sure that everything's executed and executed well. So there's like a high level of commitment there.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So, not only plan it.
Yeah.
And help them meet those deliverable deadlines and make sure that everything is seen through.
Right.
But make sure it looks good, the quality looks good, do the press checks, make sure, the color looks great.
Right.
I have to pick the papers. It's almost like, I keep going back to architecture, but, you have to look at tile. You have to look at crown molding. You have to look at paint swatches. But in this industry, it's paper swatches. It's, the coating of the paper.
Yeah.
It's, metallic ink. Do you want this? It's all that type of stuff.
So okay. So let's say you do that for 50 companies and they all want to keep you. Mm-hmm. How would you be able to keep up with that?
So I do.
Because an ad agency has so many different employees, but they have, the executive team, and it goes through a process. Mm-hmm. So you have other people able to go out there and make the calls and do those things, right?
Yes.
And not have to worry about the big things, but you not only have to worry about the big things, but you also have to make those individual, like, connections.
Right.
Right? You got to season them up. You got to set it up and do the whole thing.
I do have a lot of partners that I do work with. So
awesome. Okay.
In the printing industry, in the video production industry, a lot of the talent that I do work with, I have a huge creative network.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I tap into them as needed, and I have a very high standard of what type of work I'm looking for.
Right.
So they might not be from the United States. Like, I have an international level of
oh yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
really, like, they're all like award-winning artists.
That's
they're
amazing.
Really good at what they do. So I have a huge network, but I do subcontract. But it's a small network of people that have kind of that I've trained as well. And they've grown with me.
And they've stuck around, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's key.
Yes, definitely.
That's so key.
Yes.
Wow. So I mean, that's
exciting.
That's extremely exciting. I'm just thinking about how exhausting that could be once you get to a certain client base, right? Because that just sounds like you're doing at least 11 people's jobs.
Yes. So then at that point, I usually just work directly with the executive team.
Yeah.
So I would be the person that just kind of holds on to creative direction at that point, and then I'll facilitate that through
you hand it off
with the design team.
Got it.
So at that point, I'll help to define a foundation of like, this is a creative look that we're going with, this is the brand, this is the program, and then these are the pieces that we're going to apply it to across the year or across this program.
Okay.
And then I kind of put together a unique team that's assigned to that job, but I still oversee everything to make sure like
the stamp is on
it. It looks good.
Yeah.
And I become the client. I'm vouching for them.
Become them. Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. I have to put myself in their shoes.
Right.
And just make sure it's good. It's of a high standard, and it's what
and they're satisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm the person that they come back to, not the designer. So.
And I'm sure have you gotten that call before? Like.
Yeah, over the years, you go through a little bit of trial and error. And, and
like, oh my God, we got to change this like immediately.
All the time. I work with a lot of companies, and I can say everybody wants things done in a New York minute.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
They want it like yesterday.
Yeah, no patience, yeah.
And that's the world we live in right now.
Yeah,
everybody wants things really quick, and I think being a creative, it's a lot more pressure. A lot more pressure.
Because you want to do it right.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to half-ass it, like.
No. So it gets a little hairy, but
yeah, I believe it.
I always make it above
make it
water.
Work. All right, folks, on the rise, Nelson Stryker. I'm here with Sabrina Matera. She's the owner at Design Matters, and you can follow her on Instagram at Design Matters, and that's just one T.
Yes, one T.
Not two. So Design Matters, one T, not two. On Instagram, anything else? Facebook, Twitter,
LinkedIn
as well.
LinkedIn as well, yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. So listen, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, folks. We're back. Nelson Stryker on the rise. I'm with Sabrina Matera, owner at Design Matters. You can find her on Instagram at Design Matters, and that is with one T, not two. Sabrina, how you feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
And look, I actually wanted to get into this earlier, but I'm glad during the break we had this conversation very, very briefly. So when it comes to corporate structure, right? I guess we can say old school, right? And when you think of old school, you think of that male, like, centric, dominated market of these guys who are, and I really don't like to bring him up, Trump, that are just very, like, just all the words you can think of,
right?
But don't really know how to show proper respect to women in the environment that they work in.
Right.
So what would you say? I'm not even gonna say that. So what would your experience be like working in those types of environments? Because it's just not one environment. You've had many different experiences with different clients, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So without a shadow of a doubt, without us ever even meeting or talking, I know you've been in that kind of environment before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
it's very intimidating.
I could imagine. And you're not going in with a team.
No.
Right? You're going in by yourself.
Yes. I mean, when I started in the industry, I was part of a team.
Okay.
But I was the only female and they were male.
Oh, wow. See?
So I always had that, it was a level of intimidation, but I was young. I was in my early 20s, and I just kind of threw myself in there.
Right.
And I was fearless.
Yeah,
I was always confident.
Like, so what? I'm gonna do it.
I said, I was confident in my work, and I knew that my work was always different, and it was always going to make a difference.
Got it.
And once I was able to convince the client that, hey, I'm bringing real business value to your business unit.
Right.
Like if you want to get accolades and move up inside the organization, I feel like I can help you. I can help you do that with my visualizations. If you're having, hiccups.
Yeah.
I've helped to brand people inside the organization.
Yeah.
By helping to build their speaker keynotes.
Got it.
And almost branding them in a way where they're
more attractive.
Yeah, they're leaders being built inside this organization. So, I think in a way it always is being a female, but once you kind of just get past that idea and you're able to
focus on the work,
showcase your work, and they see that come through, it doesn't even matter at that point. At that point, it's like the work speaks for itself. Right. And they see that. Yeah. And then they realize, wow, this is there's some value here. This can elevate my brand. This can elevate the company's brand. So it's it's hard. I'm not gonna say it's easy. You just kind of learn through experience. Yeah. It's not something that you just you do it once and you say, okay, I think I got my bearings here. No way. You gotta it's like riding a bike. You gotta keep going. Yeah. You're gonna fall off. You keep going, and you learn through having those conversations. You learn
uncomfortable conversations.
Uncomfortable. You also, I've gotten grilled by people that just, they look at me and they think I'm 20. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
They prejudge.
I have 15 years of experience, and I have a good, solid portfolio of work, and I think once you get past that and you're able to justify and rationalize the work, right, it just always comes back to, this is my experience that's speaking, basically. And that's how I'm able to get the business. That's how I'm able to build the trust and the reliability factor in a way, and they're able to see, hey, this value. Girl is actually she's done this for other industries as well. Right. I've worked in the building products industry, which is very male dominated. Oh yeah. And not by choice. It's almost because my dad was in construction, but I've gained a lot of traction there. Yeah. Through the work, I did a lot of motivational programs. But it came naturally to me, because I grew up liking
going through it,
crown molding and tile. That wasn't a normal kid.
So how about let's get into do you have a story you can tell? Because I know sometimes it could get it could get murky. Right. You know what I mean? It could get very murky. And obviously, look, if you don't want to jump into anything that was too uncomfortable in the workplace, but I know, look, being attractive in any industry, has its, what's the word I'm looking for? Has its pitfalls, right? Yeah. Where you have to deal with something that you didn't ask for. You know what I mean? So is there a point in time And obviously, you don't have to mention the client, obviously, or nothing like that. Like, that. Is there like a situation where there was just this one person that really irked you, and they kept coming, and they wouldn't bother you to the point where, like, maybe you had to separate yourself from the situation, or be like, look, I can't go back there. I have to work from home. Like, I just can't go there because this guy, he keeps coming after me. He keeps trying to talk to me, and he won't take no for an answer.
Well, I think, you have this, it's almost like this sensibility of like how to read people in a way. Like you meet someone for the first time and you kind of formulate some idea about who they are,
right?
Personality wise. And for me, I haven't, when I sense that there's something that's not right, or maybe this might not, like, the vibes are just fit, off. Yeah. I don't take the client on. Like, I would just back away. So, that's like one instance. I mean, there's been times where I've taken on assignments, and then they're usually not one person. It's a group of people. It's a team that I would work with. But in that situation, I usually have a team as well. Okay. So I'm able to balance that.
So they're not only contacting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So I'll have, like, a salesperson that's interfacing, or if it's a client that wants to deal only with, like, my business development manager, I'll let them interface with him directly if he feels comfortable with him, right, as opposed to talking to me, because I'm a designer at heart. So sometimes they might not want to talk about anything design related, and it's just strictly business, and they feel more comfortable with a business development person. Sometimes I'll let the chips fall where they may at that point. But you just kind of learn to navigate. You learn to read people. You just kind of trust your gut and your intuition.
Feel the vibes, yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough I haven't gotten into any sticky situations.
Really?
Yeah, nothing crazy. It's just more it's more females, to be honest, not so much males.
Wow.
And you learn to kind of work with them. And I've learned how to navigate that in a lot of ways, how to just kind of help them in a way, and so this way they don't feel like I'm coming in and threatening their job, because that's not the case. I'm there to help them, if anything, and help their team grow. It hasn't happened as much, but usually I'm able to trust my gut and go with my intuition, and
and make that decision.
Like work with the client. If not, then I just don't take the assignment.
Right.
It's just decline and next, but
and then they ask you, like, do you get into it, or
we don't really, like, with these type of engagements, it's so slow. It doesn't even happen that quick.
Right.
I feel like the corporate world, it's like, for the job to actually happen, it's just like a longer process.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Sometimes time goes by, and if I don't reach out, they don't reach out. I sometimes have to be the aggressor.
So you don't even have to go there sometimes.
Sometimes I just kind of like put it to the back burner and it never comes back.
Oh boy. All right, folks. Nelson Stryker, and listen, we're going to take one more break because I got a couple more questions for Sabrina Matera. She's the owner at Design Matters, and you can follow her on all social, actually no, just the Instagram, Design Matters with 1 T, and we'll be right back, folks. All right, folks, on the rise, Nelson Stryker. We are in the final round of the season finale, and for those of you tuning in, this round might go a little bit longer than usual, but it is the season finale, and I have a great guest this evening, Sabrina Matera, owner at Design Matters, and we're going to get into some advice for younger women coming into the game. I mean, I guess just you could say like starting their careers, right?
Yeah. I would say It's a lot.
Yeah, because everything is a little bit. It's different now because there's more things in place. Obviously, the whole Me Too movement kind of like shined a huge light on that.
Yes. I think it's a lot easier for females to be entrepreneurs in this time.
Right.
And it's the best time to take advantage of the opportunity.
Right.
But with that said, I also feel like people have this illusion that everything they see on Instagram is the life.
Yeah.
It's not. It really
Or like
isn't.
It's perfect. Like
it's not. Yeah. Like, just cut through the bullshit and let's just be real for a second.
Yes.
It's not. You have to have a lot of self-discipline. And you have to almost hold yourself accountable. Like, don't blame it on anyone else. Like, you have to be your own motivator in a way. And honestly, that's the best advice I could give.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up, you motivate yourself. Like, you set the goals, like, you hit your targets. You know, don't kill yourself.
Right.
But, you know, you almost have to, you can't lose sight. And, accountability for me is huge.
Well, and this is the thing though. So I like to zero in on millennials, right? Because I mean, they say, you know, our generation really, you know, has this self-centered, you know, narcissistic, you know, everything fast. And to a certain point, you can't blame, you know, millennials and the generation coming behind us. I think it's the I generation or something like that. You can't blame it because systematically that is what has happened to us. Like,
we've been groomed.
Yeah, we've been groomed to be selfish, right? And not selfless, right? So if you try to tell a millennial, hey, be accountable. Okay, so wait a minute. You're telling me if I make a mistake, I have to say that I messed up? I don't mess up. I'm perfect. I don't make a mistake. Right? Because they're you know, they're self-centered. They don't know.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is point the finger and say, oh, no, they did it. This person did it. Oh, yeah, I had 5 bad relationships. It's all 5 of their fault. It's not, I didn't do anything wrong. Right? But you're telling me I got to be accountable? So how do we tell them that? You know what I'm saying?
You can't, listen, you can't expect to get somewhere and not put in the hard work. It's just the old school mentality. You can't, I'm a doer. So I'll put out the image, but I'll follow up on it. And I'll make sure I do the work.
Right.
No matter how much work it is, I'll make sure I do it. Even if it's the learning sprints, I'll do whatever I have to.
One of the learning sprints.
But yeah, you know, it's like, it's a mentality. And I think, you know, it's not only, listen, we're in a culture now where everything is fast. Everything is like, it's quick consumption. So for me, business-wise as well, I've had to adapt to it and change. So I think, you know, for them, it's a mindset thing, but I think it's also, it comes with experience. You know, you learn to hold yourself accountable through these bad experiences, and you grow from it.
Right.
You have to take something away, and you have to humble yourself. Otherwise, you know, you're just stuck in a pattern. Yeah. You can't really see your way out of it. And the way for me to kind of navigate myself through it was through, you know, the whole mental awareness, the mental health awareness, and going through like the whole nutrition, the nutrition route,
making that lifestyle
change, because I was able to see things from a holistic perspective and say, okay, I could take a step back and know that I'm being a little selfish. Like, I need to calm down a little bit. I need to take some time. Maybe I need to take some time and meditate. Maybe I need to go and take a power nap.
I need
to be good to myself. And then pick myself up and just keep going. Yeah.
Well, that actually goes into my last question, too. Because actually, I wanted to ask you about VR as well. Because as a creative, as a designer, like, VR is going to be wild.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and then we'll do the VR last. So I guess, why should the public at large put mental health before entertainment? Because entertainment, like, everybody has to get it. They have to have their Netflix shows. And look, that's all well and good, right? But there's no balance.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And entertainment just breaks the scale.
Right.
So why should people put more focus on their mental health?
Because we live in a time where everything is so saturated. We're looking at our phones a lot more than we used to. Everybody's, they're all on Netflix. Everybody's watching Hulu. Everybody's, if they're not looking at a screen,
right,
then they're doing something else productive, right? But I would say 80% of the day, people are looking at a screen, whether it's on a laptop, on a phone, on a TV, and your brain starts to get wired and trained to always be on and running,
right,
and it drains your system. So you gotta like break the cycle and have that balance. So for me, because I'm a designer and I'm always looking at digital, doesn't matter in what capacity, I'm always looking at a screen in some way.
Right.
I had to find that balance. Otherwise, I couldn't be creative.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to my creative roots and really be an artist.
Right.
And
sleep would be tough too.
Sleep, because your brain's on overdrive, so you're not really sleeping.
Right.
And then I just learning about the science of neurology and your adrenal glands and how your body just goes into overdrive, and then you realize, holy cow, I've been pushing myself to the limit. That I need to have that balance so that I can do my best work.
Right.
With being at my best, my optimal health. So once you find that healthy balance, you feel good. You feel like you're making the best judgments, and it's definitely, it's hard for me to explain that to people that I went through that, and I say, hey, I'm gluten free, and they're like, oh, are you one of those crazy people that are gluten free, dairy free, and all of that? I'm like, I am. But I did it for a reason,
right? And
I feel really good, and it paid off. So, I feel like I put out my best work, and I'm at my optimal health mentally and physically. So,
did you see What the Health?
What was that?
What the Health on Netflix?
No.
Oh my God, you gotta see it.
I have to see it.
Oh my God, it's great. It's great. I mean, it talks about like going plant-based and
really,
and what some of these companies like have been doing like for years and years.
Wow.
Like the breast cancer, the major breast cancer awareness company. They were being sponsored by like Tyson, all the big meat companies and stuff like that.
Wow.
And they found like all these like carcinogens and something like that in certain meats and stuff like that, and they didn't have this regulation on the breast cancer awareness site.
Oh my gosh.
And this guy was doing all this research, and he was like, why are you putting like this on, like, why isn't this regulation on the website telling women like this can give you cancer? Like, why isn't it not there? And he found out that those companies were giving them money. Do you know?
So, politics.
Politics again. And they weren't, doing that because they were giving money. To the organization. So,
it's so many different industries. I changed everything, and even in beauty with the cosmetics that you use.
Oh yeah.
That's not regulated very well.
Yeah.
And you realize, wow, I'm putting this stuff on my face.
Yeah.
I need to really take a step back and be careful.
Gosh.
They have lead. They have all of these chemicals.
Glue.
Oh my gosh! Like, you go through the list and you realize this is really dangerous, and I'm putting this, like, I'm ingesting this stuff in my body, and
that's why
I switched to like gluten-free makeup, and
they got that.
Yeah, Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. I've never seen that. Well, look, I don't look for makeup, but you know, I would have heard the story or something. All right, so look, let's get into this VR thing because, you know, I'm fascinated by VR, but I'm also a little bit worried.
Right.
Because, you know, as a social worker, I've been a social worker 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So working with kids and seeing how they're glued to the games, you know, is like 10 times worse than when I came up. You know what I mean? At least we went outside, you know?
Yes.
These kids don't come out, you know? So when I'm thinking of VR, I'm like, oh my God, if it really puts you in the game like that, why would a kid want to come outside?
Yeah, and
like,
it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Because I have kids. And my son is autistic.
Okay.
So I've almost had to put time constraints.
Yeah. He goes in.
Yeah, and they get into the video games, and you have to restrict it. But it all goes back to that idea of, you know, we're looking at these screens so much during the day that you almost have to regulate it because it's doing damage.
Yes.
And the younger they are that they're getting exposed to it and you're not regulating it, you're doing more damage before you can even do good.
Yeah,
so I had to make that change. Speaking of that, I had to make that change and just condense the time.
Like you cut the Wi-Fi off or anything like that? How do you do it?
Yeah, we just, you know, set the timer. Like, hey, you get like 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes tonight on the iPad. And they go crazy.
Oh my gosh. But design-wise though?
But design-wise, it's actually a lot of fun.
What do you think?
It's a lot of fun designing because I embrace new technology.
Yeah.
So when I never know what type of job will come my way. I'll be honest with you. Somebody will say, listen, I want to do a VR holiday card.
Right.
And I have no idea what the technology is. I have to like purchase it. I have to start experimenting. I have to start designing at the same time. So I have to almost immerse myself in the technology in order to figure out how I'm going to scale it.
Right.
And then accent that. So VR is definitely, it's already infiltrated the industry. But I haven't really dabbled in it too much to know, like, maybe this might stay or it might grow. So I just know I've done a little bit, but it's not it hasn't helped me tremendously in my line of work. It's helped a little bit in terms of working with like a global team.
Right.
Like there's maybe some opportunity there for me to scale it and, you know, almost make it work for a summit or almost a conference that you would have, that you need to have people there virtually in a way, or communicate
and you could see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could probably see it working, but there's opportunity. It's just it hasn't made its way into my line of work as well. It's a little bit more of like more buttoned up right now.
Yeah. Like the types of clients that you're working with.
Conservative.
Yeah, very. Right. And they're not ready. They're probably not ready to do, you know, jump into something like that now anyway.
It really depends. It depends on the company.
Some of them probably don't even have social media accounts, right? Some of the...
They have corporate social media accounts.
Corporate social media accounts.
So let that one simmer for a little bit.
I'm not even going to get it. I'm not even going to get into that one. So Sabrina, let everybody know where they can find you on social.
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Design Matters. Then that's with one T for the record.
Oh, okay.
And LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter. Same thing, Design Matters. And my website.
Awesome.
www.designmatters.com.
Awesome. All right, folks, and to my Level Up family, thank you for watching. And to those of you on the podcast, thanks for listening to On the Rise. Subscribe, leave us a rating or a review so you don't miss any level ups from the show. You guys take care.